Hey, welcome to the unplanned episode of Downtime Podcast where Jeremy and I are not ready to record this because we've been busy all week being adults. And oh, by the way, my name's Alyssa. Hey, how's it going?
I'm Jeremy. Hello, good evening.
Yeah. I'm not prepared for this. I'm just going to say right now that I didn't play any games this week, and I don't want to go too much into it, but I changed jobs this week. So this is the reason why I haven't been doing much. I was getting used to my new stuff, and also I left my old job. And the transitional period is always a little wonky because you have to figure out your schedules and how you sleep. How are you doing before we talk about the greatest game of all time, I suppose?
I'm doing well. I'm glad to hear that you're still doing well in the transition period. And for those that don't know, this is called onboarding, when you're super busy and you don't know what else to do with your time because all you can do is work. And I went through that 2 weeks ago, so it's normal, and even though we don't have much to talk about today, there's a lot of news that we'll get into later. But
this has been a interesting 2 months for us because we've been trying to find jobs, and it finally came to fruition, and here we are.
2019 is going to be a good year.
A year of changes.
Yeah, it's nice to have a little bit more money.
Yeah,
it's nice. It's nice to have a little bit more money to buy more games.
Yeah,
and that's definitely something I'm trying to make myself a goal, like basically make a goal of this year. And we did talk about resolutions last year, which I will kind of talk about in a bit. But to answer your first question, Lisa, I'm doing okay. I'm kind of tired. It's almost the end of the week. There's going to be some crazy things happening this weekend. Basically my girlfriend's birthday, where I'm going to drink a lot because it's soju. We're going to a soju bar, and
hey,
I'm like trying to prepare myself mentally for that.
Shout out to chicken wings, though.
Yo, shout out to Korean food, soju bars, and just so good. Just good stuff.
Best.
For real. So yeah, I've been okay. I've been trying to squeeze some time in this week to play some games. I fixed my computer finally. I fixed it on Monday.
No more yelling.
No more yelling. Although the yelling chat is still there, and I'll be typing about random
stuff.
And
more things to yell about.
Oh, you'll hear about it soon. I installed that 1 terabyte SSD into my desktop, which I'm recording onto now, and it's quiet, so quiet. It's a whisper quiet, and I love it. So officially my computer now has 10 terabytes of storage, which is insane.
Oh, that's pretty good. Good work.
Yeah.
Good work.
Yeah, technically it's 11-ish because there's like 3 mechanical hard drives, 2 that are 4 terabytes each, and then 1 that's 2 terabytes, and the SSD is 1 terabyte. So, I mean, minus the OS, let's say it's like 10 and a quarter terabytes of storage on my computer, and I'm like trying to organize all my external hard drives from like just like personal pictures and documents and stuff. So that's probably gonna be a project for me later this weekend or maybe early next week. But yeah, no, other than that, just work life, trying to figure out my work life balance right now. Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, pretty much. And I've been going to the gym, actually. So now to talk about resolutions we talked about last year, I've been going to the gym, and I am sore as hell right now. It's one of the reasons why I'm so tired.
That's okay.
I've taken up a boxing class, interestingly enough.
Oh, boxing's really awesome. That's cool. Are you taking kickboxing or regular boxing?
Just regular boxing. That's straight up.
Awesome.
Wrap the bands around my wrists, Rock Lee style, put on the boxing gloves like Lil Mac, and just start punching. But it's more to that.
How many minutes do you spend per session with your trainer?
So it's about 30 minutes to an hour, depending on the trainer's schedule, because there's other people in the class too, and the trainer wants to individually go around with each of us and kind of like we'll do warm-ups, and then we'll like do stuff as a class, and then she'll kind of like evaluate each of us for a little bit. So it really depends on her schedule, since this is kind of like a free class that I'm taking.
Got it.
Which is awesome, yeah. So my upper body is just in a lot of pain right now. This is gonna sound like such a first world problem. I had to grab the rail on the train today, like the upper rail, and it hurt so much to grab it. I was like, why am I doing this? I'm like wearing like my gym bag and my backpack. I'm like, this hurts so much.
It's the struggles of just starting a boxing, any sort of routine that does strength training. In my opinion, it takes 2 weeks, I think. In my experience playing volleyball and stuff, it takes 2 weeks.
Totally. And this is just the beginning. So, of course, these wounds will heal. But for now, I'm just trying to figure out what when I say work-life balance, I mean like working, and part of that life is also video games, but also going to the gym. And so this is something that's kind of new for me to incorporate gym life. So I'm only going 2 days a week right now because I don't want to just like start doing it and then be in incredible pain for like a couple months, because I want to ease into it. And plus the boxing classes are only like Tuesdays and Thursdays. And so there's like some performance training in this boxing class, but there's also just the boxing stuff itself, because you can't just like start boxing. You also have to like physically train yourself to be performance ready, I'd say, and then you can start, doing the more intense boxing stuff. So yeah, my first day was like, I jumped right into it, and I was so sore from it. So yeah, no, it's been fun, and I'm definitely crossing out one of the things on my my goals for this year, which was to go to the gym.
Awesome.
And even though I thought it would be every day, I think it's better that I'm not doing it every day.
If you're starting off with boxing, you shouldn't do it every day. In fact, 2 to 3 days a week is the perfect time, because the thing is that, bodybuilders and people who work out every day are going to tell you something different, and I'm going to tell you something different. So whether or not you agree with me, and I'm talking to the listeners, it doesn't really matter. But I think that you shouldn't do arm workouts and upper body workouts straight. You should do focuses on different body parts. So I think it's great that you're only doing it 2 times a week. And then I feel like if you added one more extra day of, say, like you ran or like you did legs, then that would be the most ideal. So you did arm, legs, arm, or upper body, lower body, upper body in your case.
Right. That's right.
So I think you're on track.
Thank you. And that's kind of how I planned it out to be. I think for the long term, I'm still going to stick it to just 2 days a week, because I really don't want to go to the gym every day. I think that's just too much. And plus, I feel like for those other 3 days of the week, I kind of want some me time, and for, not going to the gym. Although I do consider gym part of me time, I want some time where I can just like relax, and like
totally.
play video games. Otherwise, then, why am I doing all this if I'm not going to play any video games?
It's true.
Speaking of that.
Oh, before you go into that, I just want to make a quick announcement for Downtime Podcast. So by the time this episode comes out on a Monday, on the weekend, a episode of Side Quest would have been released. And if you listened to that episode already, first of all, thank you. And then second of all, our next episode of Side Quest is going to be a little bit of kind of like a love guru romantic advice episode. So ask us really random questions about relationships. And hell, it can even be about friendships too. But ask us anything regarding relationships. And Jeremy and I are going to give you our opinions on how to deal with it. Because Jeremy and I, we don't know how the other person thinks in regards to relationships. So it should be interesting.
It'll be eye-opening for both of us.
I know. So we'll see what happens. Now, on to
Sekiro. Shadows die twice. Okay. I know you were prefacing this as the best game ever, but I'm going to say this game is literally kicking my ass, and it frustrates me so much. I'm smiling right now.
Scared. Oh god. Oh.
I'm smiling right now, but it hurts so good. It hurts so bad, and there's something in between that too. Basically, I started this game a little before and a little after I started working out, and so my arms hurt while I was playing the game. And so that combined with the frustration of just losing all the time, I'm like, oh my god, it just hurts so much. It literally physically hurts to play this game, and it also hurts to die internally. So I'm just like, this game is literally gonna give me a hernia. But no, seriously though, it's a fun game overall. I mean, it goes without saying, this game's from the studio called From Software. They created all the Souls games like Dark Souls as well as Bloodborne and some games before that. But they're primarily known for their Dark Souls / Bloodborne, aka the what is it called? Soulborn games? I forget. There's a name for it. So this one's a little bit different from those in that it's not based on kind of a Western look and style, where the Dark Souls games and I believe the Bloodborne game was based on more European styles.
Yeah, I think Bloodborne is this, because I don't think Bloodborne and Dark Souls are the same company, correct?
No, they are the same company.
Oh, they are the same company? Never mind.
Yeah. So they're both based on more of a European aesthetic. I'd say like more of a medieval knight looking aesthetic. But for Sekiro, the developers wanted to go for more of a traditional Japanese sense, since they are a Japanese studio. And I guess for them, it was more of a love letter to both their culture, but also their series as a whole, since this game is vastly different from the Bloodborne / Dark Souls series. And there are a lot of elements that cross over, such as, checkpoints that you go to and that you can like rest at, but resting also respawns all the enemies. So you have to make a decision. Do you keep going on, or do you go back to a healing spot and heal yourself with the risk of all the enemies reappearing? So
sounds like Neo.
Yeah, so to go back to it at its core, it's a third-person action-adventure game with minor platform elements. There is a method to the madness when it comes to the combat styles. There's an attack button, there's a block button, there's a jump button, there's a dodge button. And
is there really a method?
It's parry, 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 slash, block. But there are some moves that you can learn later on that will help counter special weapons that some of the people have. So like, let's say for example, there's a guy that has a spear and he'll try to thrust at you, and you can do this move called the Mikiri counter, where you press circle if you're on a PlayStation. If you're on the PS4 console, you'll press circle, and then your character will stomp the spear into the ground, and you'll do a death blow, which is basically a final killing move. But some bosses, mini bosses particularly, require 2 death blows, and what you have to do is you have to whittle their health down to a certain point where you can perform a death blow. And for special moves like the Mikiri counter, you can get a death blow instantly without them having, less than half health. So
yeah,
it's just better to learn all these different moves, and there's different combos and stuff that you can learn over time. So I haven't played any of the Dark Souls or Bloodborne games specifically, so I can't really tell you how similar these games are. I just know that there's certain elements that are similar to those games. But yeah, no, it's a game about a ninja. In the game, they refer to them as shinobi, which is the Japanese word for ninja. And you play as a shinobi named Wolf, and his duty is to protect his young master, who is the rightful heir to the throne. I believe it's like he's supposed to be the emperor of Japan or something, but I don't know exactly. They tell you so little, but show you so much, and so I'm trying to figure some of this out. And basically your job is to protect him, but he gets kidnapped, and now you have to go rescue him. And he's in this giant castle, and you have to get to the giant castle, but you start really far away. So there's kind of an open world element to it. I would say that this game is a lot brighter than the Dark Souls games, since the Dark Souls games are both dark in tone, but also in lighting, since they're kind of known for that, like what's around the corner or what's in front of you can't really see it. But in Sekiro, you can actually see what's like really far ahead of you on some parts of the level. So yeah, there's some sections.
So it like gives you and kind of like there's a button you can press and you can see like the shadows or sensing or of the enemies that are in your radar.
No, it's a passive trait, so it's always turned on. The game is like, the main character Wolf can see in the dark at all times, no matter what the lighting is like. So there's a level. The second level you go to is all in the dark, but everything is perfectly lit for you as the main character. But for the NPCs, they don't see past a certain period because they're kind of blind to that. But for the main character, he kind of has these like really weird supernatural powers where he can see in the dark clearly, and also he can't die. So what that means is if you die in the game, you get 2 chances to revive yourself, but there's a cooldown between both of them. There is a negative side effect to this, however. So if you keep reviving yourself during battle, you will incur this thing called dragon rot, which is a disease that infects some of the main NPCs that prevent you from going further on to the quests. So in order to cure the dragon rot, you have to get dragon rot tears, or like dragon tears basically. And these tears help to cure anyone who has the dragon rot disease. And it's annoying because these tears are like 180 sen, which is like the currency in the game.
How do you get currency in the game?
Kill NPCs.
Okay.
And the higher level the NPCs are, basically, if the NPCs in level 1 don't yield as much money as the NPCs in level 2, you have to keep collecting money over and over again. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things to consider in this game, like different movesets. There's different items that help you increase different stats. And so it's like, there's a lot of things that are all over the place. This is a proper, well-built RPG, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around some of the aspects of it. But for me, it's just like, I just want to go in there and start killing things. But the way that I play action games like this don't work out the way that you're supposed to play this game, since this game is really nuanced and meant for hardcore players and people with patience. And so there's a mini boss
who like torture.
Exactly. And I've come to start to not like it. So I'm not regretting my purchase of this game. I definitely feel like I bought this game and I am enjoying it, but it's going to take a long time for me to beat this game the way that I'm playing it. And I'm trying to learn how to not play it the way that I'm supposed to, that I'm like going into playing it. I'm trying to learn the way that I'm supposed to play it, basically. So for me, this is a whole new learning experience. For example, there's a boss that's an ogre. And by the way, this is set in the Edo period of Japan, or is it the Meiji period? No, it's the Edo period. Edo period? Yeah, Edo period, because there's like a... No, sorry, no, not Edo period. Sengoku era. Sengoku is like when Japan had a really intense civil war in the country to determine who the emperor was. I could be getting that wrong, but anyway,
I don't know when that era is, but that's okay.
It's like the 1600s. So there's like some famous samurai that was mentioned at that time in real history. His name is Miyamoto Musashi, and he's probably like the most famous samurai of all. Anyways, so during this time period, there was trading going on with like the Dutch, but also there were still samurai and ninjas around. So you'll see guys with muskets, you'll see guys, of course, samurai walking around. But some of the enemies are actually mythical creatures, and some of them are just, even though this is supposed to take place in history, they do take some elements from like historical Japanese monsters and creatures. So for example, there's like a giant ogre that comes running at you, like he's tied up, and then he'll come running at you and you have to defeat him. It took me like 30 times to beat this guy because I didn't know how to kill him, and I kept like trying it over and over and over again, and I was like, I can't beat this giant thing. And I think for me, this game is a lot about trial and error, and I'm learning it. I'm learning it the hard way.
Those games are all about trial, error, and luck.
Ugh, yeah, I've been so lucky with that ogre thing. Holy crap. And I found out that I missed another mini-boss before I was supposed to fight the ogre. I completely missed an easier mini-boss. And I'm like, damn it, why am I doing this? And so, I mean, it is a lot of exploration and kind of like figuring out your own way, which I like. But, there's not too much hand-holding. And there's not too much direction, which I think is good. It's more Breath of the Wild-y, where Breath of the Wild's like, this is the starting area. All right, you finish the starting area. now go find something else to do. You're like, what do I do? And the game's like, just go find it. And you're like, okay. So then you have to like walk around and figure out like, oh, these giant guardian things are going to kill me in one hit. I should not go this way. But for Sekiro, it's like, you can sneak. Okay, sneak past enemies. I didn't know I was supposed to kill everything that was in my sights to get coins, you know? I snuck past everything until I got to the ogre. I'm like, shit, I'm not supposed to be here.
Oh. Yeah. And at least like the way Neo worked, I don't remember a lot of the mechanics, but if you killed more of the demon people, then you could get experience in the form of a calmer spirit, and it would help level you up. So obviously it would be nice to just pass by all these villains and all these enemies, but of course there's something useful to them if you killed them.
Right, exactly.
Which sucks.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's terrible, but I mean, at the end of the day,
I love torture.
No, I'm not going to say that. Yeah, bring it on. Give it to me. At the end of the day, I think it is a fun game. Again, this is my first time playing a game from Software, so I got pushed into the deep end. I'm trying to learn how to swim. While I'm learning how to swim, I'm getting my ass kicked, and it hurts so good, and it hurts so bad, but I think it's well worth it, and I'm going to enjoy the rest of this game. And this is going to take me a while to complete, so if there's something else that I will take priority over while I'm playing this game, then I will play that over this one. For example, Judgment in June. If I don't finish this game by June and Judgment comes out, then I'm probably just going to play Judgment and forget about Sekiro for a while.
Oh yeah, fuck that. Sorry, if y'all can't tell, I'm never going to play Sekiro.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm your Sekiro entry into this whole thing, so.
Yeah, Neo traumatized me forever. We're never doing that ever again.
You beat it though, right?
I didn't beat Neo. I want to say I was halfway done, and it was one of those things where I don't even necessarily think that like I was stuck in a place and I rage quit. I just stopped playing it. Because my head hurt, Jeremy.
Your head, your heart.
My heart, my soul. I had to do what was best for me.
You do you know?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, what about... And you said you're not playing anything this week?
No,
or?
I haven't been playing anything since I'm in a transitional period. But thank you for sharing your thoughts on Sekiro.
Yeah, I want to go into Cube Corner real quick before we move on to news.
All right.
All right, welcome to Cube Corner, where I talk about GameCube games. So today, I teased it last week, we'll be talking about Godzilla, the only Godzilla game on the GameCube, which is called... It's escaping me. Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee.
There was a pause. I was like, what if the name is just Godzilla?
No.
One word.
So, GameCube had two Melee games. There was Godzilla, and then there was Super Smash Brothers. And so, when you talk about Melee, everyone, of course, thinks about Super Smash Brothers Melee. But people forget that there's a Godzilla fighting game called Destroy All Monsters Melee. And I honestly think that they chose Melee just to hop onto the Melee bandwagon, so people would be like, some like parent would be like, oh, I'm trying to buy my son Melee, and then the guy at GameStop's like, or EB Games or Software Etc. was like, oh, Godzilla, here it is, and then the dad's like, oh, great, thanks, and then the dad brings it home to his kid, and the kid's like, this is not the Melee I wanted, and then the dad's like, well, you said Melee, you didn't say exactly what Melee, and the kid's like, okay, but then he puts it into his GameCube, and he's like, wow, this is actually a lot of fun. I love this game.
Kids everywhere disappointed forever until they realize, hey, Godzilla.
Exactly. Now, what I just described was just a fake story. I actually did actively seek and buy this game out when I was younger. My brother and I grew up watching Godzilla films. We watched a lot of them, actually, now that I think about it. Everything from the 1954 original to the 1992 Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, whatever. So yeah, we have a long history of Godzilla. We both love it. I love the recent Japanese Godzilla, Shin Godzilla, and I'm excited for the new legendary Godzilla Destroy All Monsters. Not Destroy All Monsters, Godzilla King of the Monsters. That's coming out this year. So yeah, this game is a 4-player fighting game, where you play as various Godzilla monsters. They're called kaiju in Japanese, which basically means like giant monster. So you play everyone from Godzilla to Godzilla's friend, quote unquote friend, Angirius. There's Destroyer, Gigan, Godzilla 90s, which is his look from the 1990s. Godzilla 2000, his look from
Godzilla 90s.
Yeah, he looks derpy, and I love it. That's the one I grew up with. And Godzilla 2000 was like the one from the movie called Godzilla Millennium in the West, and then they retired him in like 2014 or whatever when the American Godzilla came out, because the last Godzilla movie that came out in Japan was Godzilla Final Wars, and that movie came out in 2004 to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Godzilla. So they literally had all the popular monsters of Godzilla into one movie. There was there's like a cheesy subplot, there was like a cheesy main plot, there was like this big American dude who was one of the main cast members. He was like a pro wrestler or something. I forget his name, but yeah, there's like this big white dude who was in there. I was like, this is amazing. This is a great movie. So yeah, and they even had Zilla from the 1998 American Godzilla movie with Matthew Broderick in Godzilla Final Wars, which was interesting. But he got killed in like 2 seconds. It was great.
Wait, Godzilla or Matthew Broderick?
Not Matthew Broderick, Godzilla from...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I had to clarify.
Yeah, no worries. They killed Matthew Broderick in that movie. he's like, it's my day off, and then they killed him. So they have King Ghidorah, Mecha Godzilla, Mecha King Ghidorah, Megalon. Yeah, there's a bunch of different monsters in this game.
This is a Japanese game?
It was developed by Atari.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I could be wrong. I think it was published by Atari on the GameCube. And Pipeworks Software was the company that made it. They're based in Oregon. They made another Godzilla game after this one, for the PS2 and Xbox, called Godzilla Save the Earth. They made other Godzilla games too. And they helped make Terraria.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. But in any case, yeah, so Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee has a main story where you play as Godzilla and you have to save the Earth basically by defeating other monsters that are controlled by these aliens. This is basically the subplot. Not subplot. This is basically the main plot of Godzilla Final Wars, now that I think about it. But it was fun. It was you could play the game solo, of course, do the main campaign. You could you can fight against one person, you can fight against 3 people, 4 people. It's great. There's different levels. There's San Francisco. San Francisco appears.
Shout out.
Yeah, a couple times. You can destroy San Francisco. You can literally pick up buildings and throw them at each other. There's cheat codes where you can have like unlimited lives and like unlimited power meter. Basically, the power meter allows you to do a special move that your character can perform. So, for example, Godzilla has atomic breath, and pressing the Z button on the GameCube allows you to charge up your atomic breath and then release it, and then this uses up that power level. Mechagodzilla has like laser eyes, but also rocket fingers. So these are all based on like, the stuff from the movies, which is great. All the character models look really similar to their movie counterparts. Of course, they have to, but they're screen accurate, I would say, and I think that was really cool about it. This is a really solid Godzilla game / fighting game, and my brother and I loved this game so much and still love it to this day. And it kind of paved the way for other Godzilla fighting games. I own one on the PS4 called Godzilla, and I was expecting it to be a lot like Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee, but it was not, and I'm kind of disappointed.
Same developer?
No, actually, it's by... Who's it by? There's another company that created it. I think it's a Japanese company that created it. It doesn't play like the GameCube one because it doesn't feel like, it doesn't feel like the same. It doesn't feel the same way as the other one. This one, the one on the PS4 is kind of similar to I'd say closer to an actual fighting game where there's like combos and stuff, which I'm like, yo, I'm not about this right now, because please no. But yeah, all in all, a great game. If you own a GameCube and you have this game, I hope you love it. If you are looking to collect this game, it's definitely one for the books. I think this is a really solid kaiju fighting game. Definitely a good party game. If you're tired of Melee or tired of Mario Party, pop in Godzilla and see where it takes you.
Very nice.
And yeah, this has been this edition of Cube Corner. Thanks for listening.
Now, on to gaming news, which there's a lot of. We'll list out as much as we remember, and then we'll end this podcast.
Yep.
Now, one of the biggest announcements that just happened yesterday is, or maybe was it today? Whatever. The last 24 hours, Borderlands 3 just got officially announced at PAX East, which is happening in Boston right now. Gearbox went to announce it, and it's funny because I think Borderlands 3 got leaked a few days ago on 4chan.
Of all the places.
Of all the places.
And yeah, go ahead.
Oh, and Borderlands 3 is not a battle royale because the developers have said it.
Thank goodness. I love that they're keeping with the humor of the games and being like, this ain't no damn battle royale. This is a Borderlands game. It's exactly what you were expecting. A couple takeaways to note here. Borderlands 3, Gearbox can count to 3, unlike Valve. There's a joke there. There's a joke somewhere there. And it's pretty much, the trailer shows that it's a pretty standard Borderlands game. You have like vehicles. There's a billion guns that they're touting, which I think is insane. They've always had millions of guns in every iteration of the game. Kooky characters. They even had a character from Tales from the Borderlands, the Telltale game, which I thought was pretty cool. Yeah, so we'll see if there's more characters from Tales from the Borderlands. There's cheeky humor, of course, Claptrap, some rad music, crazy villains, large enemies. There's like a fire-breathing T-Rex alien creature that was awesome. I'm definitely looking forward to it. My brother is a huge Borderlands fan.
It's a great game.
Yeah, and I was texting him earlier today. I was like, "Hey, did you see this?" He's like, "Whoa, no, this is my first time seeing it." I'm like, I thought you'd be on top of this. You're like a major fan."
If you weren't watching PAX East though, or saw news about PAX East, you probably would have not encountered this until it got super public in the news.
Full disclosure, I saw this on our Discord, so shout out to Hooded Dude who posted this. Or was it? No, yeah, it was Hooded Dude. Shout out to Hooded Dude for posting this, because that was freaking awesome.
I think that with every reveal trailer, you get a really nice teaser, and we're about to find out more information in the upcoming months. And maybe fall, maybe winter. We'll see what happens.
Maybe even
summer.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's going to be ready soon.
Do you think it's done?
Yeah, it looks like it's done, but we don't know because it was just a dev trailer showing you all the aspects of the game. They literally didn't tell you anything. They just showed you a bunch of stuff, which is awesome.
There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Totally. So we'll see if this game comes with a special edition. My brother was like, I want to buy the special edition if they have one. Last time they had a special edition, it came with the full-size Claptrap robot, like remote-controlled robot thing.
That one, yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. And then let's also, most likely, there's going to be a special edition that has all 3 games. Yeah,
because the Borderlands Handsome Collection came out on the PS4, which I currently own, and that game has Borderlands, the pre-sequel 1 and 2, which is pretty cool, but I haven't touched it since I bought it. And I'm actually, when it comes to shooters, I prefer things more on the PC. Mm-hmm. That's just how I feel. I mean, no offense to any console gamers out there, but I do feel like keyboard and mouse is the way that shooters are meant to be played, because it's just so much easier. It's just so much quicker. I was playing Halo Online El Dorito. It's a mod that basically created Halo Online from existing file source from Russia. Basically, 343 created this online game that was meant for Russia only, and of course it was Halo themed, and the whole point of it was so that they can have an online test market to have Halo on the PC. And then someone leaked these dev files to the West, and people in the West started developing it and making it their own thing. 343 got involved, and they were like, "Oh, you can't do this." But then they were like, "Okay, but you have to tell us why." And 343 was like, "We can't tell you why." And that was like a couple of years ago that this happened. And now it turned out because the Master Chief Collection was coming to PC. That's why 343 couldn't talk about it. So unfortunately, El Dorito / Halo Online will be coming to an end. But I just felt like playing Halo on the PC was definitely a better experience for me than playing it on Xbox. Of course, Xbox is one of the original ways to play a shooter game, especially Halo is such an iconic franchise as Halo, but people have to also remember that Halo came out on the PC as well. So, when it comes to things like this, I just feel like the PC is a better system for playing first-person shooters and just kind of shooters in general, to be honest.
Yeah, totally. It's easier to aim, and I feel like it's not as sticky either.
Right. And you can also build your PC to be a little bit more powerful than consoles, and so you'll have a little bit more extra legroom when you're running higher games. So Borderlands, looking forward to it. It definitely has the Borderlands feel when I saw the trailer. I will definitely be picking it up, but probably not on day one. I'm probably going to wait. I usually like to buy the Borderlands games when all the DLC comes out, but for 3, I might just pick it up, maybe a month or two after it comes out, since I just love the Borderlands series.
Yeah, totally. I'm going to play it as well. I don't think I'll pick it up on launch either, but we'll see what happens, because I don't think there's going to, especially if it comes out in fall. I don't really have a fall game except for Catherine, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah. Let's see. A lot of new trailers were also released. They released a new trailer for Days Gone that showed a lot more of the footage, which is going in full force because it comes out in I think a month from now. I don't think exactly a month from now. So PlayStation had this announcement called the State of Play, where they just released so many games on VR, which I thought was really weird. There's a lot of new games coming out on PlayStation VR. And
I mean, they're still trying to push it, and I get it.
I get that they're trying to push it, but let's be real. They're making another PlayStation VR now. They're probably making a second version of it, as PlayStation 5 is also getting it. So it's like, if you know for a fact a PlayStation, there's going to be a new PSVR coming out in 2 years, probably going to be paired up with PlayStation 5. I wouldn't buy a PlayStation VR at all right now.
Yeah.
Waste of money.
I just feel like they haven't perfected the VR concept yet, and they're still trying to get there. Everyone thought that VR was going to take off and, be this crazy thing, which it kind of got kind of got a running start. Like, there was some room, but then there was also some room for improvement. But
room for improvement and price. I think that PlayStation would be wise to just simply pair up the PSVR with the upcoming PS5 and have it included, because otherwise, if the next iteration of PSVR is more expensive or like what have you, then no one's going to buy it. I think PSVR is also the cheapest headset right now compared to the other ones, so they should keep going in the cheaper included route.
Right. I mean, Sony's got money to burn, so they're just like, so just why not,
Yeah, exactly.
With the release of Stadia, I think a lot of companies are going to be looking in that direction. Instead of VR, I think a lot of people are going to try to focus their efforts on making streaming consoles a thing, since for Stadia, it doesn't seem like you need a lot of crazy internal hardware, since you're streaming a game from a separate source that's running all the hardware for you. This would also, in turn, mean that consoles will be a lot smaller. But of course, we still have like that PlayStation Now console, that streaming little PlayStation console. But I don't think it's going to be enough to warrant the new hardware that these other companies are trying to put out. I could definitely see Microsoft pushing this more than Sony. I don't know if Sony
Microsoft
has...
is definitely going to push it more based off of the clues and hints that we got from them last year. I don't think PlayStation is going to... If PlayStation is going to go in that direction, it's not going to be for a while.
These are... I agree with you, and these are my honestly my personal thoughts on this. Microsoft has a lot of money. I don't know if it's as much as Google. I don't know what both those companies' net worths are.
Microsoft clearly for sure has more money than Sony.
Yeah, but when it compared to Google, I don't know where both companies, Google and Microsoft, lie in like a wealth perspective or like a resources perspective. But Microsoft does have a lot of money, and if they could pull off something like the Stadia, they could do it. They could definitely put in those infrastructure systems around different cities in the US and push for the streaming service to go through the next Xbox, like the digital only version of the Xbox that can only stream games and not download them, or do both, Whereas, honestly, Sony is a Japanese company, and at the end of the day, they're not going to put their resources into something that's not going to hit both Japan and the US.
It's true.
They're going to factor something that's disc-based so that the Japanese audience will buy these games and have no problem with it. Because when it comes down to it, the Japanese audience, they love physical media. They love CD still. There's still CD stores and DVD stores all around Japan, rental stores too. Like, you don't see that in the US anymore. And it's because people like having the physicality of things. But I'm not just saying that the Japanese people love it. Americans love it too. But otherwise we wouldn't have stores like GameStop. But at the end of the day, it comes down to the markets. And as I mentioned, Sony's a Japanese company, and their main market will be Japan. But, of course, the US is a huge market for them as well. But they have to please both markets. And to make two different models for two different systems while putting an infrastructure in for just North America, I think that's too much money for Sony to handle right now.
And the funny thing is, Japan arguably has better internet than the United States.
They do. They really do.
Like,
There's better internet.
They actually have all the internet resources to even do a streaming thing. Jeremy, I just had a thought.
Yeah.
So, okay. How much is Google going to pay in royalties to the developers who have these games on their platform? Because for example, the thing with Nintendo is a developer themselves, so they're making money. Sony is a developer themselves, so they're making money. Microsoft is a developer themselves, so they're making money. Google is a third party, and they're different because the thing about Steam is you're buying the game. So whatever royalty Steam gets, like, they get, but like, you're still getting a copy of the game. But in a subscription based format, you're paying what? $29 to Google to stream a library of games. But how do the numbers work in terms of the developer being paid for the game and how many minutes of actually playing Borderlands, for example, does Gearbox actually get money? Like, obviously we don't know the answers to it, but I actually think that's kind of that might be a big issue if they don't get that much money out of it. So Google for example, Ubisoft, Google has to pay a lot of these AAA developers a lot of money. Yeah. Or else it's not worth it to them.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. But I honestly don't know how much they're giving to these other companies. I'm sure there's going to be...
We don't know yet because the concept was just introduced last week at GDC.
Yeah, and they didn't really talk about that, and I don't know if they will talk about that right now, but it definitely is something to consider.
Yeah. If I'm a developer, basically it comes down to, again, that probably... I don't know. Like, I think it's going to be a very interesting thing, whether if especially AAA, is Google even going to be willing to shell out a lot of money to them? We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, Google's a big company, and if they're the one to pull this off, like, I could totally see them doing this and more in the future. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. The future of gaming is kind of weird right now. No one knows what direction it's going to go in, and that's the best part, too.
Oh, yeah, it's great. I think that basically owning the game itself it will most likely move to digital, with physical being like very limited edition special copies. But at least the one thing that's PlayStation will always benefit is that people will always want like PlayStation and Steam will benefit is people will always want their own copy of the game and not stream it. So there's always going to be a market in buying a game, which is all good in the hood.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, that would mean that companies like GameStop will cease to exist, and you'll only be left with the mom and pop shops, which are pretty rare in the city of San Francisco, I have to say, which is really sad because I want more.
No, you got to go outside of San Francisco to go to a lot of video game, and because San Francisco is super gentrified and expensive to pay for rent, and a lot of these gaming retro collection stores, they're not going to shell out that money to be in San Francisco unless they were grandfathered in and they've owned that store for 20 years.
Yeah, that's the sad truth of it, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, and then another thing is, I think also at GDC, Apple Arcade was announced, which is basically Google Stadia. Like, if it's, whatever. It's just another... It's just an announcement until it comes to life. So
that's true.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Yeah. The last thing I want to talk about is the Mortal Kombat 11 trailer, because it's legit as fuck, and they've really improved on the music on this trailer. It's so much better. It's way better than that trap bullshit that happened last time.
It's not trap.
It's not trap. It was actually it was wonderful. Now I'm really hyped. So aside from all the characters that were like introduced, like Kung Lao and Shang Tsung and all of these really Jax, all these classics. And it's funny you say classics, because the point of the trailer actually was old school versus new school. And all of these older characters, like Mortal Kombat characters were evenly distributed in the trailer, but like a lot of it had to do with kind of like mixing new Mortal Kombat with old Mortal Kombat. And the beginning of the trailer actually had Ice Cube, and that was the first half of the trailer, and then the second half of the trailer had Vince Staples. And Ice Cube, Vince Staples, if you guys don't know, are prolific rappers that are based in the Los Angeles, Long Beach area. So it's like you have an old school rapper and a new school rapper. It was just wonderful. God, why? No one should ever put trap on their trailers ever again. It was a travesty, but thank God that this made up for it. The marketing was way better here.
Good. I mean, I think they were trying to hit a lot of the younger audience when they released that initial trailer, but
it was trash.
Yeah, everyone agreed. Oh, that was universal. And everyone agreed that it was trash.
Like, I've heard decent trap. The Mortal Kombat remix soundtrack has decent trap. This trap, I was just like, God, I hate people.
It's like mumble trap. Everyone,
I know.
It's horrible.
I know.
Man. Well, I mean, you're gonna get the game, right?
Oh, I'm getting that's a game I'm getting on launch. I'm so hyped for it. It's gonna be wonderful.
I think I asked you this already, Alyssa, but do you own a fight stick for the PS4?
No, I used to have it for like actually every year except for PS4. It's all good though.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I was just curious.
Yeah. I used to have, I liked mine for PlayStation 1 especially, because it was just a really nice one for Tekken, and my cousin gave it to me. But I don't know, I got lazy. That shit's expensive. I gotta pay the bills and eat.
No, I feel it.
Yeah. But it's all good in the hood. Because I'm fine with controller. It's all good.
Hey.
And that's the last thing I want to talk about.
Cool. From my end, I want to talk about Notch being removed from all Minecraft, basically, references. It doesn't say, like, made by Notch anymore. And they kind of removed him from everything within the Minecraft code. He's been erased by Microsoft. And there's two reasons why that I believe. One is because, you know, he's been, like, spouting off all this crazy stuff because he's like, yeah, he's like a conspiracy theorist now, and it's gotten weird with him. I think it's because he's so rich, he doesn't know what to do anymore. He's just bored of life, and he's just like, I don't know, like, he doesn't know what to spend his money on, and he's just spouting off random things when he wakes up. Who knows?
Also, I'm sorry, this is a tangent, but
yeah,
you know, YouTube is actually taking down videos that are conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
They made an announcement that they're going to take down videos that are conspiracy theories, which, by the way, is a very strange call from YouTube, simply because, come on, y'all. 1, Illuminati's real. You didn't hear it from me. 2, 9/11 was an inside job. You also didn't hear it from me. And 3, conspiracy theories don't have that many views, like, in the grand scheme of things. It ain't that serious, YouTube. But
yeah.
Like, I don't know what's going on.
Who knows?
I mean, like, yeah, I don't know. But it is interesting. I think also, okay, so I guess aside from his Twitter rants being a little off, what I would ask is if in the contract when he sold off Minecraft, is there a clause that said, like, in whatever years, you know, you no longer own, you know, are going to be put on Minecraft also. I don't know the answer to that question.
I am not sure either.
Yeah.
To be honest, but yeah, I just think that he's still making some money from it after he sold the company, because he sold it back in 2014, and Microsoft paid him $2.5 billion. So who knows how else he's making money from that. Alyssa will be out for 20 minutes or so, dealing with something. So in the meantime, you have me. By the way, for those that don't know, Notch is from Sweden, and his real name is Markus Persson, and he created Minecraft. So I don't know if that was clear. So yeah, I just think that Notch is I don't know. I think he's a good guy. I think he's a good guy at heart. He just has weird intentions, and he's just talking about random shit all the time that no one really cares about. So much so that Microsoft booted him from the game. And I mentioned in the beginning this is the first reason why. The second reason why is because it's been 5 years since Notch sold Minecraft. And you know, with a company merger like this, and with them just taking over Minecraft wholly, I think it's about time that they just erase his name anyways, since yes, he did create the game, and he did, you know, quote unquote found the company, but that doesn't mean that Microsoft has to keep him there. Now that the company's owned by them, they can do whatever they want with it. They can even kill Minecraft if they want to. But unfortunately, Minecraft, I guess fortunately, you know, Minecraft has kind of had a resurgence recently. I don't know why, but a lot of people are going back and playing the game again. I guess it's because all the little kids went from Minecraft to Fortnite. So there's people that can actually play the game. I'm not sure, but I'm just spitting out my ass there. I did play a lot of Minecraft when I was younger. I mentioned this on the podcast earlier, where my brother and I were part of the server called New Heights, and it was awesome. We all had our own like little islands where we can like chill and stuff like that. So I do have some fond memories with Minecraft. I'm not trying to diss on Minecraft. I think it's still a great game. It's a really good learning tool. But I think that at the end of the day, this is just all part of business. It's just a business transaction that was made a while ago, and the only way that we can see the end of it is if people just stop voting with their wallets. But again, Minecraft is a beast that can't be killed. It's the second most played game in the whole world, next to the first game that's been most popular in the whole world, which is Tetris, surprisingly. Hence why we got Tetris 99, Tetris Battle Royale, something that no one ever thought was going to come out. I'm still surprised by that, actually. Like, why make a Tetris Battle Royale game? Who knows? But yeah, so Notch is this really crazy dude now. I mean, everyone knows him as like the guy who created Minecraft and started using his money for weird things. He criticized piracy at one point, but it seemed like he was a part of the whole pirate thing. He's part of the Pirate Party of Sweden. I have no idea what that is and what they do, but he's part of that, even though he said he was against it. I'm assuming the Pirate Party of Sweden is something that has to do with online piracy. I don't know. Maybe it's a political party. In any case, so he's known for that, but he's also known for purchasing a home in Beverly Hills for like $70 million, and he outbid... Who did he outbid? It was like Jay-Z and Beyonce, I think, that he outbid. With Mojang, he created a lot of really cool stuff, I think. The other piece of news that I want to talk about is the layoffs at EA. So there are around 350 employees that were let go, unfortunately, from EA. And it's just sad when things like this happen, because these game companies, as we've told before on the podcast, the industry is so finicky right now. There's like no union. Jobs come and go so fast. At one point you could be happy working for a game company. The second minute you're being fired. There's no stability. There's a lot of hard work that goes into them. There's a lot of deadlines you have to meet. But surprisingly, it's for EA is a company that everyone thought would be doing well, since they have all these microtransactions and have so much money in their pocket. But unfortunately, they had to have layoffs. Just like last month, Activision Blizzard had some layoffs, a lot of layoffs. It was like 800 jobs. And then before that, late last year, Telltale had a huge layoff, which we covered. And it sucks. It sucks when these things happen. Even if you don't like a company, you have to recognize that these are the little people that were just doing what the top people were telling them to do. So although everyone says EA is a shitty company, which, let's be honest, there are a lot of aspects of EA that aren't good. There are a lot of people that go into making a video game, a single video game. And so when these kinds of things happen, it just sucks that, these people have to find a job now. And EA, for those that don't know, is actually based in Redwood City, close to San Francisco, the Bay Area, where Alyssa and I are. So, hopefully these people go find jobs soon. There's a lot more studios in the Bay Area where they can go find jobs and work at. But man, we don't want to see any more layoffs. It's like once a month now, almost. We'll see. Anyways, guys, thanks for listening to the 96th episode of Downtime Podcast. If you guys want to find us, go to www.downtime.live. Click on the word community on the bottom left. You can find a hyperlink to join our Discord, where we talk about games all the time, talk about stuff, anything, memes, music, mostly games though. There's anime too, and we yell at each other sometimes. And at the top, click on the word contact, fill out our form to contact us directly, ask us a question, leave us a review, etc., etc. If you want to contact us the old-fashioned way, go to contact@downtime.live, send us an email at contact@downtime.live to ask us a question, leave a comment, leave a concern. Hopefully you don't have any. And again, we are always open to hear your thoughts leave a comment on YouTube, leave us a review on iTunes, leave us a comment on Podbean. We're always here to listen. We're always here to talk to you guys about stuff. So again, yeah, thanks guys for listening to the 96th episode of Downtime Podcast. Have a good